What is going on? So in 5 weeks time, I've got my show. And basically I'm going to do a video every single week on the run up to the show, showing you exactly how I'm training, how I'm approaching it. Maybe chuck a little bit of polls in so you can check my condition as well at the end. But before I get started, bear with me because I'm new to this YouTube thing. Like the video, subscribe and hit the bell icon. But enough of that technical lingo, let's get into it. So today I'm on chest and back, but I'm going to start with back, mainly because once I've done a little bit of back and it's contracted, I find it easier to isolate my chest. So I'm going to start with some back, so I'm going to get warmed up first, so follow me. So obviously, like I mentioned down there, I'm 5 weeks out from my first show. It's going to be a men's physique show. So to be honest, last week I was dreading coming into this week after the check-in with my coach because I thought it was going to get really grim with food, but surprisingly it's been okay so far. Anyone who competes who's done any level of dieting will tell you that dieting mentally is very, very difficult. It's like you're constantly on it 24/7, but to be honest, so far it's been pretty easy. Hopefully it continues to be pretty easy, obviously until like a couple of weeks out where it will get really difficult. But I was dreading this week because I thought a lot of food's going to come out, but luckily my conditions come down well, my weight's come down, I'm much tighter, sharper and things like that. So still having the jam on my bagels, which is good. Still having like my apples or pineapples and stuff, so at the minute the job's a good one. But obviously as time goes on it'll get a bit harder, more steps, less food, more output and stuff. But for now we're doing okay. So we're going to move on to the first exercise, it's going to be bent over rows. A lot of the training we're doing at the minute is mainly aimed at like shoulders and arms, because men's physique is mainly like a shoulders and arms, it's very aesthetic. So we'll do a bit of a chest and back work today, so I'm going to start with barbell rows. So just going to do a few feeler sets, get in the rhythm and then get started then on the working ones. So I did my first working set, N90, felt very easy considering. Like I say, I'm in prep, so naturally my strength is going to dwindle a bit over time, but I am kind of keeping hold a bit to strength at the minute, which is good. But I'm going to try and do 110 kilos on barbell row now. 90 felt all right, so 20 key might be a bit of a jump, but I think I got it in me, so let's see how we get on. I'm just going to aim for 6 to 8, so anywhere in that threshold is fine. For this shit, man, fuck me. Yeah, I felt all right, so I'll probably stick on that for one more and do a quick deload set. Yeah, moved all right, considering, so stick on that one more, move on. So, as I said earlier on, like, it is feeling still quite easy, but when I do train, due to the fact that my carbs are a bit lower than normal and my output's a bit higher, like now I'm literally like 3 work sets in and I'm already feeling fucked, to be honest. So I'm going to do a deload set now. Good thing about deload sets is, like I just said to you, I am absolutely blowing out my arse at the moment. So I've done 3 heavy working sets. So this will allow me to still stimulate and engage in muscle as much as possible, but keep my form well, and ultimately just so I'm not fucking completely struggling. Because like I say, at the minute the main thing for me is output. Things like my steps, lowering my food intake and stuff like that. So naturally your training does take a bit of a hit. And obviously now I'm feeling it. So quick deload set, then we're going to move on to some T-bar rowing. So obviously in previous videos I've spoken like progressive overload and stuff. That was during the building phase where I've got calories to burn and a huge calorie surplus. At the minute it's like the opposite. So during building you'll take a note like last week and then hopefully try and improve it. Due to the fact that, to put it simply, when you're dieting, you're losing weight. The simplest way to put it is just less Jamie to lift the weight. So what we're going to try and do is keep it as close as possible, because obviously naturally through prep you do lose strength, but last week I had 60 kilograms on this, hoping to get around that today. I'd accept like 60, 55, because in the last 2 weeks I'm like 9 pounds down, so it doesn't sound like a lot, but when it comes to overall strength, it does make a big difference. So let's try and get around that number today. Naturally that felt a lot harder than last week. Really struggled on the last 2 reps. So I'm going to take a little bit of weight off, probably take a 15 off, put a 10 on, to go down 5 kilos this week. So like I say, pretty simply there's less Jamie to lift the weight this week. And throughout prep that's going to keep happening, so So just trying to maintain, keep all that strength and size as much as we possibly can. We're doing a decent job, but yeah, a little bit lighter this time. Should do the trick. So at this stage, I'm absolutely fucked now. Whatever I said to you at the beginning of the video, do not fucking listen to me. Today is the first day, probably on cue because I'm getting the videos, that I've really felt training. I'm not even halfway through yet. So one more on these, some pullovers, so I'm going to move on to chest, but really feeling it today, because obviously as output goes up, it's going to take a lot more out of me. It's like a swing, because obviously you've got less calories, therefore you've got less fuel, but your output's going up and up and up. So it gets more and more tiring. So feeling this now, we're going to do another deload, the same reason we did it over there, onto some pullovers, and then somehow we're going to try and do some chest as well, if we can make it that far. So just finished up back then, we're going to jump onto some chest. During my prep, I don't know if it's because of how lean I've been, and I've still been lifting heavy, I've been running into a lot of injuries, mainly when I'm doing incline work. Now, a lot of, like I say, men's physique, it's very aesthetic, so it's a lot of work on upper chest, so a lot of the stuff I do is incline. However, the last couple of weeks, I had to have some work done on my rear delts, because whenever I'm doing incline, I'm feeling it really bad in my rear delt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work backwards today. So the heavy incline press I'm going to do last on chest. So usually I finish with this, which is your chest press. I'm going to start with this, get plenty of blood in my muscle. As I said before, train back first, so nice contracted, so hopefully that will help curb any type of pain I'm getting while doing incline. It's not constant pain, it's just, I mean, like little annoying injuries that occasionally pop up. So I'm going to do this first, some flies, make sure there's plenty of blood in there, then move on to incline. So I'm just going to do it backwards today, but I'm going to start out with this rather than like finishing off with it. So as I said, when I've been coming through prep, I've been running into some injuries, and naturally I'm not going to be as strong as normal. So with some movements, bigger movements like your pressing and your pulling and stuff, I've been doing a lot of like slow eccentric work. So that's what I'm doing on this. So I'm just doing 3 seconds down, 1 second up, really focusing on slowing it down, controlling that weight when I come back down. Mainly just because I've not got the capacity at the minute. I really have not got the capacity to be going heavy consistently. Like my training volume has gone down quite a lot. Like when I was building, I had a lot more calories, I had a lot more energy basically to really push myself. At the minute I've not got that. So as my body fat drops, as my glycogen stores deplete slowly, things like that, naturally it's going to get harder and harder, which is where the eccentric work comes in, and it's very helpful to still get 100% out of everything, not really put as much stress on the body. That's why we focus on it, especially during the good movements, the heavy movements like your compound lifts, such as like your pressing, your leg pressing, your rolls, stuff like that. So yeah. So surprisingly, I've got a bit of a second win now. Though it's just spent loads of time talking to people or whatever, but yeah, I got a bit of a second win, feeling good now. Tends to happen through the beginning of the session. I tend to feel fucking dead tired, dead depleted at first, and then I kind of get a bit of a second win. You just need to get through it. Obviously, we started out then on chest press. The good news is rear delt feels good, no pain whatsoever, plenty of blood in the chest. So again, just following suit from that, jump onto the pec deck. We're going to do a quick muscle round set, which is just pure volume based, get loads of blood in there, then move on to the heavy incline press. Obviously it won't be as heavy as we can do, because obviously we're quite fatigued, we're doing a couple of exercises, but I'd rather that, pain-free, especially 5 weeks out. I don't need any hiccups, I don't need any injuries, nothing. I need it to be as plain sailing as possible for me on out. So no risk whatsoever, take everything as safely as possible, get onto there, and then do as much as I can. Then we're going to chuck some posing in, I'm going to treat you.
Just like the thoughts I trade for a couple of bucks in this big bucket of love. I'm steady throwing my up, hoping for that 1 in 100.
As I mentioned, in a little bit of pain, I did start feeling it a little bit toward the end on that. Again, rear delt, I've probably got a problem with it. I've had some work done on it, but only slight. It might be because of the amount of volume I was doing. But I'm going to try incline pressing, see how it works. If it doesn't feel good, I'm just going to leave it there, and then move on to some posing, but should be okay. I think it was just because of the amount of volume I did on that, I started to feel it just tweaking a little bit, but play it safe, see how the first set goes. Hopefully it's okay, if not, we'll stop there, but fingers crossed we're okay. So last week, session came to a screeching halt, to be honest. As I mentioned, picked up a bit of an injury. I did a few sets on these, immediately started to feel it. Did a couple on the fly machine I've just done, and again, completely seized up, so just left it there. Last week, I was doing 55 kilos dumbbells. I'm going to take it down a few notches this week, because like I say, I've done a couple of exercises first. Do 40 aside, literally just go for a feel as much as possible, and hopefully that'll be okay. If that feels okay, I'll go a bit heavier, but again, you just need to be safe and make sure we're firing on all cylinders for the next 5 weeks. Don't want to take any risk whatsoever. So the good news is 40 felt okay. Main thing is they felt healthy, felt well more than doable, which was great. To be honest, I expected to get on the bench and just get pinned straight away, but felt really good. Like I say, the main thing is they felt healthy. Don't want to risk any injury whatsoever. So I'm gonna go up to 45s, hopefully these move the same way, and then I think that should be about enough. So last one of these, I'm gonna do a quick deload after that, and then do some posing. So felt good, got them up, 45, so set of 8, just close them last 2 out, which is exactly where you want to be when you're aiming for like 6 to 8. You want to be literally failing around the numbers. But again, felt a little bit of a tweak in that shoulder. So no more heavy lifting now. Got one more deload. Just going to aim for contraction, squeeze as much as possible, really keep everything low on the chest. And then after that, we are done and dusted. Not risking any chance of injury whatsoever, because like I say, we have no room for mistakes. It's all right when you're like 16 weeks away, even 12 weeks away. Got a couple weeks where you can kind of take your foot off the gas. Fucking hell, knackered. Take your foot off the gas, but yeah, at the minute, I've got no room to kind of be out for 2 weeks, not even a week. So literally play it safe here, go a lot lighter, probably 30k dumbbells, good set of 15, squeeze as much as I can, keep everything loaded, done and dusted, go and get some posing done. So obviously session's over now. Like I say, competition wise, one thing that really needs work is my posing. I've always just done conventional poses, like normal bodybuilding poses, but it's men's physique that I'm doing. It's a lot more elegant, how your transitions look, how you hold certain poses. Did my first posing session last Friday. Still needs a hell of a lot of work. So every time I finish training, I'm just gonna start throwing in a posing routine, basically just to work on my craft, get everything complete, and plus I'm full of blood as well. So it'll help just open everything up. So get some of that done today. You can have a look at how my condition looks, how I progress over the coming weeks. Yeah, so you can see how the journey's going. So that session, first session of the series, I put together in the books. Done a little bit of posing there. Now we're gonna go and do some walking pole session, but no one cares about walking, so I'm not getting that bit recorded. Overall, a very good session. There's a few points there that I want to work on. Obviously, I kept mentioning my shoulder, again, needs some work doing. Obviously, as time goes on, I do not want that to go, especially when I'm a few weeks out of competition. So get booked in my sports exercise therapist again. Hopefully you can sort out any type of injury I've got there, because it is still coming back, still feel a bit tight now, even though the session has ended. Had a quick look at the film then that we got them from posing. Everything's coming in nice, looking sharper, looking leaner as well. Obviously at the moment, my salt is nice and high, so it's holding a little bit of water. So to be in the condition I'm in, while still having a load of salt, I'm very, very happy with. So a couple of weeks from competition date, maybe a week before, we'll start to drop the salt out, really get the water out, so I'm looking like sharp and tight. Posing needs loads of work. As I look back at that then, doing wrong shoulder poses I'm happy with, like the side poses, the front poses. My back poses need a hell of a lot of work, but hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'm going to be doing more of these on the run up to, obviously through my prep and on the day of the show as well. Let me know which day you'd like to see next. Obviously today was shoulders and back, chest and back, but obviously do things like shoulders and arms, legs, arms and shoulders, whatever it may be. So let me know in the comments which one you'd like to see next. And like I said at the beginning, if you haven't done already, like the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you get a notification anytime I upload Thank you for watching. I shall see you next time.